Hi guys, it's week 6 already. I can't believe how fast the time flew by. Before I start, I just want to apologize if you overhear my 2-year-old. She's around and she's been sick for a while, so she's been a little bit clingy and might call on me from time to time. So let's begin. In order to do my presentation, I chose one of the data sets that we were given in week 5, I believe it was, and I decided to go with this one right here, brewery production, because who doesn't love breweries? And let's begin. So I downloaded this data right here, and I changed it around a little bit, and I also added some of my own information in order to do this presentation. So I would like to begin with something very simple, which we had to do with every single assignment, and that's save as. So in order to do save as, we have to go up here to File. We click on that, then we go to Save As. And then you want to change the name of your file. So for example, for myself, I'm going to change this to 2017 number of brewers by production. Now my computer does this thing where I have to retype this twice, so I'm just gonna copy paste, save, and it's being a little slow. I apologize. And I'm gonna save this. And now the name of the workbook is going to change. So that is save as. And I thought I would start with some basics. So things like changing your font, size, color, fill. So just as an example, let's take this right here. Or you know what, let's take this cell right here, cell B9. And it says number of breweries. So let's say I would like to change the font of this. I would go to up here in the Home tab, and I would do this drop down arrow. Oh, if it wants to do that. And I could change it to any of these fonts right here. So let's say this one. If you wanted to do the same thing, but for the size, you would go up here and you can change the size to, let's say, 14. If you want to change the color of the font, you can open up this drop down and change it, let's say, to blue. And you can see how everything in cell B9 changes. The font, the size, the color. So that is just a quick example. And then let's say I wanted to change the fill, so the background. I can change it to yellow. There we go. Okay. Oh, it does not want to stay for some reason. Okay. Now I'm going to undo these things. So I'm going to go up here to this arrow right here, and it says undo format cells, and I'm going to undo because I don't want it to be that font or that color. Okay. So the next thing I would like to do is talk about centering. So right here we have this phone number, and I'm going to click on this cell, and I want to center it. So the easiest way to do that is, again, in the Home tab. You can go up here and you have align left, center, and align right. And I'm going to click on center. And then I got this centered. Now there is another option called merge and center, which merges cells together. And it can be a little confusing, but centering and merge and center are a little different. So just as an example, and this is going to be wrong, but let's say I pressed here on A1, and I have all this text here. but I'm pressing on A1, and instead of center, I'm going to press merge and center. That didn't work. That didn't do the right thing, because what I want is to merge the cells and center the letters. So I'm going to go back and undo this. And what I need to do is to select the cells that I want to be merged and centered. So I'm going to select these 4 cells right here. And now I'm going to press merge and center. And I'm going to get this right here. So I'm going to do the same with this subtitle, merge and center. And this one is pretty centered. I guess I can see what happens. Okay. And if you can't hear, that's my 2-year-old singing in the background, BINGO. Okay. Now, what I wanted to show next is this date right here. It's stationary. It's just written in. But let's say this was a data set that was constantly changed, added on to, and we wanted that date to be reflective of every day. So what date is it today? So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to erase this, and I'm going to go into formulas, into the formulas tab. And we have all of these different options here, but I'm going to go to date and time, do the drop down, and I am going to find today. And I'm going to press OK, and it's going to give me the date today. Now, supposedly tomorrow, if I was to go in here, it would say April 5th. Okay, now next. So the next thing I wanted to show is how to change the width of a column. So on purpose, I made column A smaller, where you can see all of the words, and so that we could go ahead and change that. So there's a few ways to do this. If you want to change just this column and fix it up, I would highlight it. I would go up here and have this symbol show up, and then I would drag until I was satisfied that everything was in there. Maybe a little more. However, I could also do this a different way. What I could do is highlight, let's say, multiple columns. Too far. And I could go back into home, and I could do format up here, and I can adjust column width. And let's say I'm going to do 22. So that actually made it smaller, so it does make sense. I'll do 30. Okay, so now I adjusted everything. I don't want this to be that big right now so that we can see the screen, because I'm going to add on to this. So I'm going to go back, and I'm just going to leave it like that. But it's good to know, in Excel there's usually multiple ways to do almost anything. So those are a couple of ways to change the width. And changing the height of the rows basically works the same way. So now I wanted to show some formulas, some pretty simple ones. And what I did here is I created some extra information. So let's say that instead of where did it go? Instead of the total barrels, because what this says right here is this is the total barrels that the 15 breweries that had production size of 6,000,001 barrels and over. This is the total barrels that they made. But let's say, just for the sake of the example, that we know that this is how much, on average, the amount of barrels that each of these breweries can produce. So what I'm going to do is I am going to bring over this information from this sheet, and I'm going to copy it in here. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want to create a formula. So first I want to show how I can format this new column here. So I'm going to highlight F9 to F21, and I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna do format cells. I'm gonna put it as currency, and I'm gonna leave it as 2 decimal spaces and press OK. So what I'm trying to say is, let's say that the price of each of these barrels, retail price, is $2, let's say, for these breweries that made this production science, and it's $3 for the breweries that made between 2 million and 6 million, and so on, just for the sake of the example. So then I am going to create a formula, and that formula is going to be the retail price of the barrels. So I'm going to put that in here, retail price of barrels. And in order to create this formula, I'm going to go into this cell, make it active, press equal, then press on the total barrels times the price, and I'm going to go right here and do this check mark, and I'm going to get the amount, the retail price of the barrels. Now I want to drag this formula all the way down to showcase all of these, and this is what we will get. So just a simple formula, and of course we've learned so much more than this, but this is all the time that I have. I hope this is helpful, and I hope everybody has an amazing little break between sessions, and good luck with everything in the future. Thank you so much.